So you're thinking about going to an online nurse practitioner school and you're trying to figure out if it's right for you. And honestly, there are pros, but there are way too many cons. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons why you shouldn't go to a nurse practitioner school, all based online. So stay tuned. Welcome back, Psych Dude family. It's good seeing each and every one of you guys today. If you are new to this channel, let me formally introduce myself. I'm the Psych Dude. I'm a board-certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and in this channel, I go over several different subjects to educate the public about mental health, ways to improve your lifestyle, topics related to nursing, nurse practitioners, and a lot of it is based around psychiatric nurse practitioners like myself. If you're interested in any of these topics, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video to help with the algorithm so I put out way more content, and follow me on Instagram at THEPSYCHDUDE. So you probably clicked this video because you're interested in trying to figure out what program is right for you. An online NP program or a person brick and mortar NP program where you go purely in class. And honestly, both have their pros and both have their cons. But I think, in my personal opinion, I feel that the online NP program has way more cons than pros, and it's something that might affect your long-term goals, and it's something you have to take into consideration. And unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that yes, there are a lot of cons, and in this video I'm going to be giving you those cons and those reasons why you shouldn't go to an online NP program, and ultimately how it can affect your career in the long run. So make sure you stay to the very end of this video, because I'll go over my reasoning why it might hurt your career in the long run. So the very first reason why you shouldn't go to an online NP school is less interaction with students. And you don't even realize how important it is to have a relationship with other students around you. The reason being is because they can help you in so many different ways. And if you're not necessarily going to class and not developing that bond, it's going to be a lot harder to have that interaction, especially when you're just contacting each other through either text messages or emails. So the importance of having this relationship is because they can get you a job. If you're having trouble with a patient, they can help you in that sense. If you're having trouble just figuring out what your contract's like with either insurance companies or your contract's like with other providers, and if what you're trying to figure out with helping a patient to see if that's the right set of medications or if you need advice, you're missing all of those things. Yes, you can do it at the level where you're texting and emailing with people that you've already texting, but it's not the same exact thing, because sometimes you might not have the same people in your class in the next class. But a lot of the times when you're going to a brick and mortar, you go in as a cohort, and once you start that cohort, more than likely you're going to end up with that cohort unless people fail. But that's another video within itself. But that's the importance of having some interaction, or a lot of interactions, because you get to develop that bond. If you're already a nurse, think about the bonds you've developed with the people that you went to nursing school with. Think about it. See, it's important. And if you're furthering your career as an NP, you want to develop these bonds and you want to develop these relationships, because you never know where it's going to take you. And for me, for example, I got my telepsych job from one of my classmates that actually introduced me to their psychiatrist, and I got the job. So it's important that you understand how developing relationships and building those interactions with students can help you in the long run. So the second reason why you shouldn't go to an online NP school is you're going to have decreased interactions with your teachers as well. Think about it. The whole point of going to school is to be able to learn to a certain extent so you can further your education, further your career, and you need some guidance. And when you do when you go to class, you're actually having an interaction with your teachers. Yes, some teachers might not be good as other teachers, but for the most part, if you have questions, concerns, you can go ahead and ask those things. But when it's online, a lot of the interactions you're having is either Skype, yes it helps, or having those teleconferencing, yes it helps, but it's not the same, because you don't necessarily know or what to ask, especially at that time in the moment when you're going through that lecture. But when you're in school, you're actually able to ask those questions because when they present it, then you can ask. But online, your interaction with the teacher is extremely minimal, and sometimes you won't even talk to them, you won't even have to email them because, let's just face it, you're not going to know what to do. You're just going to try to figure it out yourself or ask some of your classmates. And like I said in the first reason, the interaction with your classmates, it's way minimal. So if you feel that you want more guidance, you want a teacher that's actually going to help you throughout the steps or take you under their wing to guide you into this profession, which is already hard within itself, you want to go to a school where you can see the teacher in person and actually have office hours set for them in order for you to talk to them. But if you feel like you don't even care about that and you just want to get by and just do your own thing, then maybe online school is for you. But for some people, it's a con, and that's the reason why you shouldn't technically go to online NP school. So the third reason why you shouldn't go to an online NP school is there's way too much work, way more work than usual. Think about it. All you're going to be doing is discussion boards. All you're going to be doing is papers. You are going to do way more discussion boards, way more papers than people that actually go into class. The reason being is because when you're in class, that's your participation. You're hearing a lecture and they know that you're there and you know that you're learning. But when you're online school, the reasoning for you to learn or do your research is through discussion boards. And if you've done discussion boards, then you know how pointless they are. And let's face it, you don't necessarily learn. Yes, you can read other people's, but for the most part, people just do their posts and then they reply to two people saying,
"Dear so-and-so, I love your post. It's so informational. I've learned so much from it."
Is that really learning? Is it? So you have to think about how you actually want to learn, because if you feel that that's the route you want to go to and you feel like all you want to do is papers and do more work, more papers, more discussion boards, more papers, more discussion boards, and group assignments, which it's pretty hard as a group doing online program, then so by all means, go ahead and go that route. But that's the reason why I feel that going to a program in school will have actually less work, because you're going to be going to the program and you're just going to be focused on clinicals and actually reading instead of these discussion boards and doing papers that are kind of pointless. So it's up to you. So the fourth reason why you shouldn't go to an online nurse practitioner school is it's all self-learning. So a lot of the points that I mentioned previously kind of lead up to this, because if you think about it, a lot of it you're self-learning. So the third reason where you're pretty much just doing papers and discussion boards, you're not necessarily learning anything from those things. Yes, you'll hear tidbits here and there, but you're not necessarily learning what to do in certain situations, what medications to use in certain situations, because a lot of it is you're just going to have to figure it out yourself. And that's how online nurse practitioner programs are, or just any online school in general, how it is, because you have to do the reading. Yes, you're going to have to do the reading also when you go to or in-person school, like a brick and mortar school, but at the same time, you actually hear lectures, you actually go over case studies together, you actually see rationales for certain things, and you're not going to actually do that when you go to the online program. A lot of those things you're missing, and I feel like it makes the actual provider weaker because you don't necessarily get all of those experiences. But if you go to a school that's brick and mortar school, you're going to get all of those experiences. And online kind of sucks because you're learning everything yourself, and if you come up or have any issues with certain topics or you have questions about it, it's going to be a lot harder to get that answered, because sometimes teachers don't email you back, or sometimes teachers take way too long to email you back, and by the time you're trying to move on to the next subject, you don't necessarily know what to do from that standpoint. And sometimes a lot of the things you have to learn in order, and if you don't necessarily know those things, you're just going to fall behind altogether. So it's definitely something to think about, especially if you like to learn and if you don't want to just learn all by yourself. If you want some guidance, then maybe you shouldn't consider an online program. So the fifth and final reason why you shouldn't go to an online NP program, and what can kind of hurt your career on why you shouldn't, is because of stigma. And unfortunately, with online programs, there's so much stigma associated with it, and a lot of the times it can hurt your career going forward. I'm not going to say it's going to, but it definitely can hurt your career, especially when you're coming out of a new grad, as a new grad, because a lot of the times these psychiatrists, they know more of the brick and mortar schools that are around, and also they hear about all the schools that are online. I'm not going to say all online schools are bad, but just the stigma associated with online programs versus a brick and mortar program, yes, they're more than likely going to go with someone that actually went to a brick and mortar program over an online program. But like I said, everyone has their reasons. Everyone has to choose for what's best for them. If you want to further your career and online program is the only option you have, then do it by all means. You just have to be ready to take in consideration all the negatives with it, especially with the stigma one. I think that's the biggest one, because stigma associated with online programs, there's already doctors out there that are saying that online nurse practitioner programs should not exist because PA programs don't exist online and medical school programs don't exist online. So why should someone that's maybe even or acting at the same level as a provider or same level as a doctor or a PA have an online program? And a lot of doctors, especially when they're looking at your resumes and potentially hiring you, they are going to consider that, and they might not want to hire you because it was an online program. And even other nurse practitioners that are looking for you, maybe if you're a student and you're wanting to precept, if they see an online program, they might not even want to actually precept you because you're an online program or you're going to an online program. So it's definitely something to think about. And honestly, there's so much out there on the stigma associated with online programs and why people will actually see it as a huge red flag, because they always think of it as like, oh, they probably couldn't get accepted into a local program. I'm not saying that's the case, but some people's mindsets are like that. So you have to be aware of that, because if there's in-person programs and they want you to look at as their main career, they're going to want to think that, okay, they dedicated themselves enough to actually go to a program in person as opposed to strictly online. So yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. I'm just here to provide some guidance, provide you some education in terms of finding out what's right for you. And sometimes you need to know reasons why not to go to an online school, or reasons why not to go to an in-person school, or reasons why you should go into in-person school, or reasons why you should go to an online program. It just all depends on you at the end of the day and your decision making. But regardless of what you decide, whether or not you are going to go to online school or in-person school, you are making that right step in the right direction. So I applaud you for that. Well guys, this ends my video. Yeah, I hope you guys truly enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed learning more about some of the reasons why not to go to an NP program. But yeah, I just wanted to end it here. As always guys, have a wonderful day. It is Christmas Eve that I'm filming this, so if I haven't already mentioned it to you, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!